share my screen as well. I am a bit under the weather with done with the flu, but let's try and see as best how we can just work through this question. This question is based on database. I've seen this question few years back, so I'm just going to run through this question and see how best you understand what is being asked of you. Do everyone have a chance to read through this question already?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Okay. All right. Good. You would have realized that based on how this question is structured, you should be given a access file with some fields and in most cases information already based on how the question is structured. Because the question is saying that you work for a employment private employment agency as an administrative assistant. As a part of your responsibility, you're responsible for maintaining a client database containing the sorry, the job candidate basic contact information, name, address, telephone number. The office manager asks you to add to the database. So therefore, the database exists already, and the office manager asks you to add to the database the date each candidate applied at the office, the date they were placed with an employer, and the employer name. Also, because the database is getting rather large, you I'm not seeing all of it, but yes, you are asked or they decide to create a form to make it easier to enter and update record. So therefore, it is simply saying there is a database exists already. Good. So given the fact that the database is so large, you are now required to create a form from which you're going to feed information through the form to that database that already exists. They move on to say your completed table and form will be similar to those shown here. So here you're seeing like a template of how your form should look when you're finished. Not exactly the same way because the word says similar, but you will find out that you will have most or if not all of the fields you're seeing here, such as your application number, application date. When you complete yours, it should have these heading along with others. Now, following that, it states that open the database name access, that is AC02 underscore enterprise employment agency. From the fact that they are saying open the database name, that simply means that the database would have exist already. Now you're only asked to open it. And the table name candidates. So there's a there's a database called employment agency, enterprise employment agency. And when you open it, there's a table inside of it that is called candidates. All right. All right. So I'm just going to go through a few stuff because I don't have the existing database on hand, but based on what the questions are asking for, I will go through those requirements so as to give you as to refresh you as to what is being asked of you. All right. So we're going to pretend that we have the existing database, and we open the and we open and we open the database, the table called candidates, right? So the next step is to, and it's two marks to do that, just to locate the database and open the table. There's two marks to do that. Reduce the state.
So, sir,
Yes,
2 marks to open it. Where will it be?
that's what I'm saying. Given that it exists already, the person in most cases doing the assessment would provide you with that file.
Okay.
Yeah. Because remember, in database, normally say create a database, right? But in this case, saying open the database name. So therefore, it must exist already. Um, so number two said to reduce the state field size to 2. And remember now, if you analyze up here, we do not have a field called state. You realize that? We don't have a field called state. So more than likely, the file that you're going to open that you will get would already contain state. But in most cases, if it doesn't contain state, you can go ahead and add that state field to it. But based on how the question is structured, it should already be exist on that file. So you're going to reduce the state field size to 2, and you're going to change um, the state field format properties to display all entry in uppercase, and we're going to make the default value for the state field be LFL. And I think that should stand for Florida. All right, so I already have a database here already, so I'm just going to use it to bring across that demonstration. All right, so key thing to note as well, I already have a database here already that I pre-created just to bring across this example. So I am going to, currently I am in data sheet view with my table right here, but I am going to go into design view. So this is my design view. So this is my design view, and as you realize, I would already gone ahead and I had entered some fields based on what the question would ask, because I do not have the pre-made one. So here I add my state in it, and I add my state to be short text, and it did say that you should reduce. It state that you should reduce the size of the field to 2. So to do that, I ensure I click, and remember I am inside my design view right now. I click on the state field name right here, and I would move below where I have field size. Normally it would be, I think it's 255. It should have been, it would have been, but the question asks to reduce the size to 2, so I will change that to 2. And it also states that the default value should be FL, and we want our FL to be in uppercase. So where we have default right here, I move across it and I will put in capital FL. Are we clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. And I click off state, and if I should click back on state again, you realize that you are seeing my field size for state is 2, and my default value for state is FL, and it is in capital letter. Alright, so let me see what is the next requirement. Next requirement, it states that change the zip code data type to text with a field size of 10. So once more, I am going to go back to my database. Alright, to my database, and you realize the one before did not have state in it. So I would have added state just to bring across the demonstration. And take for example that what you receive, what you were seeing before. I'm just using this as an example. So when you open the file that was given to you, you're seeing zip code and you're seeing number. And they state now that you should change it to what? To text. So in line with my zip code, I move across under my data type heading and I click on it and I will change this to text. And remember, I just use number as an example. I am not sure what is in that file that you will receive. But whatever is there, you change it to text. And they did state that the fee size should be what? 10, right? So once more, I click on my zip code and I move to field size and I change that to 10. And that will take care of that question. All right, let me look. Good. So the zip code is text, data type is text, and the fee size is 10. 2 marks. All right, number 4, state that you should insert the following field after the application number. So here we have a field called what? Let me see if I can get this bigger for you. Yep. Here we have the field name is application date. The data type is date and time, and the format is short data. Now, on the original one here, you already see they have data type. However, the fact that they ask you to insert it, that simply means the prefix one and the one that they started already would not have date application date in it. So you will have to add it. And to do so, you would have to go to your database and let me remove this. Let me just remove this. You have to go to your database and you have to add your application date. All right. So let me undo that. And they ask you to put your application date right after where application number. So to do so, what I am going to do from my design view, I click right before first name right there. With it highlighted, my mouse pointer over the highlighted area right there. I right click and I click on insert and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in application date. But I want to make something vividly clear. The simplest of mistake can give you a headache. Alright? You realize that I click my mouse right there and you see my insertion point. If I should go ahead and I should mistakenly press my space bar before I start typing application, that of itself would give me some bit of trouble further on. So ensure that you do not have any space before it, please and thank you. With that said, application date, and it said I should use what? Short text. Did you say that? No, date and time. So I move across, and my data type by default I am seeing short text appear. I click the drop down arrow and I choose date and time. Alright? And it asks that for my, let me go back to it. Ensure that you're always on the field that you're editing. It said my format should change to short date. So I am going to click on format and I'm going to select short date. Okay, give me a second, please. Alright, so we are back. So are we clear so far as how I go about adding the application date, selecting the date and time, for data type and selecting the format to be short data. Are we clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So let me move on to the next question. Where are you? Good. So the next question asks to add the following two fields to the end of the table. The first field is hire date. The date and time for hire date, the data type for hire date would be date and time. The format would be short text. That is similar to what I did a while ago, right? Right, guys?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Ensure you're sure about it now. So it's saying at the end of your table, you're going to add hire date. Let the data type for hire date be date and time. Let the format be short data. After that, you're going to add a next field called employed by, and the data type should be text. Now, based on the version of Office you're using, you might not see text, but you might see short text and long text. But once you're seeing text here, let's use short text, all right?
Okay, sir.
And it states that for the description should be enter the name of the employee, and the fee size should be 45. All right, let's remember all of that. So where I have let me just take this out. Take this out. All right. All right. So let me put hire date right. I'm not gonna do it for you to understand. Hire date right here, and it did ask me to use date and time, right? And it asked me to let my format be what again?
Text.
What should my what should it be?
I don't remember if it is text.
Let me double check. The format should be short date.
Okay.
Short date. Short date. So same procedure. I come here, click inside a format to the end, the drop down arrow, and I choose short date. All right. So that will be completed right there. I am going to just remove these. Remove the. I want to remove that. And it said to the end of it as well. I should follow up with employed by, and employed by should be text. But this is what I was explaining to you. If you do not see the text by itself, you might see short text and long text. Once it's just regular text they have there, let it stay at short text. And they state that description. So this is the only one they're asking for description. So you move across. Description is optional, but since they ask you for it, you move across in line with employed by. You move across, and it said that the description should be enter the name of the employer. So you would write are we clear on that?
Yes, sir.
And then it follows through to say the field size should be 45. All right. So let's move back to this question that we were working with. So we'd have complete all of that right there from top all the way down. So let's move to question 10. Question 10. No, this is the wrong one. Let's look at the wrong one. Let's look at the wrong one. Good. Sorry. Now it is saying that we should switch to database view and save the table design changes. So remember I state that we are in what? Um we are in design view. So we should switch from design view to data sheet view. This is design view. So to switch to data sheet view now, we click on the drop down right here and we click on data sheet view, and it said that we should save the changes. So we click on yes to save the changes. And is our this is our data sheet view that we're in. All right, so I am not going to type in all the information right here, but as you realize that we have all our field name, we have our um application number, application date, first name, last name, state, zip code, city, phone, um address, hire date, employed by. um just gonna add a few information here. So Tamika, give me a 3-digit number. Let me add some zeros before. Give me 3 digits, Tamika, for your
Three
ID
six
number.
five.
365. All right. And let's say your application date was, let's say, the 5th of the 5th, and it was in 2005. And spell your first name for me again, Tamika.
MEKE.
Tameka. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And it's Brown. All right. And you realize that we did say that we want state to be Florida and we make it default. So we do not need to type in FL. As we move to the next person, FL will appear automatically. So you see where we did enter FL as default value? Get that?
Yes, sir.
The car is still there?
Yes, sir. Still here.
Okay. Alright, so let's enter a zip code and so on. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna let that stay at that point. I need to touch on one other thing before we get a time out. The next question say that we should change the zip code 72725. We need to change that to 72725-1016, and we must use the find and replace to make that change. In doing so, we click on home, and at the top here we are seeing second. All right, so as I was saying that we are going to use our find and replace feature. So I click on home and right here, and you can use your find icon here to pick up where to find your find and replace. So we're going to click on find, and we're going to find what? We're going to find 72725, and we're going to replace it. So click on the replace right here. We're going to replace it with 72725-1016. Please note what is here and when I click on my replace all, what happened. Click on replace all, say yes, I want to replace it. I close that, and you realize that at this point you're seeing 7272-1016. So this is a feature that they're talking about. Next
Could you run
question
it
is,
again for me, sir, before you move on?
go again.
Could you run it back for me before you move on?
All right.
The find and replace.
All right. So I'm going to put Tamika's own to 72725. All right. So the question says we should locate all 72725 and replace it with 72725-1016. So under my home menu, and I click on find right here, I am going to find what? 72, 72, 5. You can type it in if it's not there. And I'm going to replace it with 72, 72, 5 dash 1016. What you're seeing mine here because I just use it just now. But you would need to type in yours, all right? Clear?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then you will
Thanks.
click on here, replace all, and say yes. All right, replace, yes, 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 yes. All right, so what you're seeing happening right here, because I use it just now, so it's
Yes,
basically not
sir.
allowing me to push it through again. You understand?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay. All right. So the next question that we're at is saying that use the form wizard to create a form for the candidates table, including all the table field in the current order, and the order is here. Use 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 the columnar layout and style of your choice. Title the form candidates info. All right, so we're going to create a form to enter information through the form to go into our table. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go to our database. I already created that form, so I'm going to delete mine. I'm going to delete it, delete it. Yes, I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to go to my create wizard, sorry, my create menu, and I'm going to go to my form wizard right here. And in my form wizard, I need to add these fields, but they're going to be a part of my form. So let me bring this up so you can view it clearer. Let me make this a bit smaller. Good. So I need what? Application ID. So the application ID, press the arrow to bring it across. I'm gonna keep on going back and forth. I need what? I need application. I need everything right here. Everything all the way down. So what you can do, once you're certain that you need every single thing, you don't have to do them one by one. You can use a double arrow to bring everything across at once. Alright? Then I click on next. And it did state that you should use what? Columnar. So ensure you check columnar and you click on next. And the name of the form should be candidate information. And once you finish that, you click on finish and wait while your form generates. All right, good. So this is what my form looks like now. At the bottom, it is saying that I have two records. I'm at record 1 of 2. If I click the arrow to go across, it should show me Tamika's record. Here it shows me Tamika's record. Now, if I move across, I do not have any more record. Only thing you're seeing is what? Your state to be FL, and you will realize that we did set our default value for state to be FL for Florida. No, Dakar,
Yes, sir.
your time now. Give me a 3-digit number because I'm going to enter your information in the form to feed it into the table. So give me a 3-digit number.
391.
391. And your application date. Can I do the 4th of the 8th, 2000?
Yes, sir.
Spell your first name for me, please.
DECAR.
DECAR. Fill your last name for me, please.
OMEALLY.
OMEALLY.
Yes, sir.
And let's say your zip code is 1234. And let's say your city is what? Santa Cruz, just for namesake, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
and let's say your phone number. I'm gonna make up a phone number, all right? All right. And let's say your address is Santa Cruz. And let's say your hire date is the first of the first 1999. And oh, Z should be here. And let's say your employer is computer tech, right? Just for namesake. Alright? So what happened now? After I enter that, and remember you will need to enter more than one record, right? I am going to press my arrow to go across to move on to make the next entry. But before I do so, let's open the candidates table. You realize the card that you're not seeing your name, don't it?
Yes, sir.
So once you click on the refresh here, and remember refresh is under home, you realize that the table is updated and your name and all your information entering the form is now showing. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Miss Brown? Not here, Miss Brown. All right. So what happened for this question 9? They say use the new form to enter the following record. So what I did with your name, the car, is what you would do with this information. So we have two set a record for two different persons, one here and one here, and it states what to go under what field. The final part here is asking you to search for these names in your form and make the changes. So let's say oh my, where are you now? All right. All right, let's break. Okay, so you would have seen where I entered information through the form, and when I open my table and click on refresh all, you see the information that entered in the form appears right here. See that the car? See your name and everything, your
Yes,
address
sir.
and everything. All right. So I was saying for the last check out the last task, it's asking you to find these persons, and you're going to make the changes based on what is being shown in the table at the bottom right here. So I'm going to pretend the card that um you are one of the person, right? So and I'm going to make the change through the form as well. So at the bottom right here, I see the bottom right here, you see in your
Yes, sir.
search. So if I should type in start typing Dekar, I start enter what? DE, you realize that automatically it drags your file into the form,
Okay.
right? And let's say on the sheet that they gave to us, they want us to change it to from say your application date was actually 2001 and your ID was actually 303 and your telephone number last two digits should have been 90. You understand?
Yes,
So
sir.
that's how you go about searching.
Editing.
Yeah, to search for it and make the necessary editing that you need to do. And once you're finished, I can click off here, and if I go back to my table, I am seeing what 2001 for your I'm seeing 2001 for your application date, and I'm seeing 303 for your ID. I should be seeing 90 for your telephone number. You're seeing 90 for your telephone number right there. All right. So generally that is what is required of you if you should come across such a question. So what I am going to ask of you to do, you can practice this question on your own. You can actually try and complete the task for practice sake based on how I did mine right here. I don't have the one that was what that should have been sent to you or would be sent to you, but I try to create something for myself to mimic what is being asked, just to ensure that I touch on all areas. All right, so I am going to stop here for now and allow you to practice that question.